Guys, once again, the Nigerian Labour Congress has decided to embark on another nationwide strike. Now, talking about strikes, as I expect that most people would wonder why the continuous strike talks. Strikes are not only a means of demanding and achieving an adequate provision of basic liberties, but also are themselves intrinsic, self-determined expressions of freedom and human rights. Now, I believe that is the direction the NLC has decided to tow, as they have commenced mass mobilization ahead of their planned nationwide strike, scheduled to begin on the 2nd of August 2023 to protest the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. Now, in a schedule obtained by the Punch, the NLC stated that there is nowhere in the world where government leaves its citizens totally to the vagaries of the market without some measure of control and protection. It further reads that the federal government should immediately deal decisively with the criminal content of subsidy instead of exposing ordinary citizens to avoidable pain and hardship. Mind you, the NLC has advised citizens to stock their homes with food items, medicines, and other essential things ahead of the commencement of a 7-day strike to protest the removal of fuel subsidies and the escalating cost of living in the country. Now, the warning was set to become necessary because the strike would cripple the country as movement would be severely curtailed, as commercial transport operators would withdraw their services while markets, schools, healthcare facilities will be forced to shut down. Now, that being said, while the question of civic obligations, however, remains at stake, most people might be disgruntled with the strike, claiming that the strike infringes upon their own freedom of movement, privacy, and so forth. So, if we should defend the right to strike, it must be meaningful. Both parties involved should strive to strike a deal in the process, no pun intended, in good faith, and not merely act upon purposeless forms of virtue signaling or anger venting on chaotic impulse. What do you guys think? Please relay your thoughts in the comment section below. I have come to understand that Nigerians want an effective prosecution of all cases of corruption and other excesses to serve as a deterrent. Now, this, of course, they believe would entail a much more thorough investigation that would furnish the prosecution with unassailable incriminating evidence. Economists and civil society organizations have backed the appointment of a special investigator to probe the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, and other government business entities by President Bola Tinubu. The experts and groups, in separate interviews with the Punch, said the investigation was necessary to ascertain if there were any infractions or alleged abuse of office by the suspended CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, and other top government officials. Reports have it that their comments came on the heels of Tinubu's appointment of the former Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Jim Obazi, as special investigator to probe the CBN, NNPCL, and other government business entities. In a letter cited by the Punch, Tinubu directed the special investigator to work with security and anti-corruption agencies to provide a comprehensive report on public wealth currently in the hands of corrupt individuals and establishments, whether private or public. According to the letter, the appointment takes immediate effect, and the investigator is to report directly to the president on a weekly basis. Of course, this development came barely a week after Emefiele was arraigned in court for illegal possession of firearms and granted bail, after which the DSS rearrested him. Well, I personally pray for transparency on this and other issues as regards economy and corruption, etc., as that is one place most of our leaders have failed us. Somebody great said this: our greatest power as nations and individuals is not the ability to employ assault weapons, suicide bombers, and drones to destroy each other. The greatest power with which we may arm ourselves with are grace and compassion, sufficient enough to love and save each other. Sadly, that is not the case for the Pakistanis. The death toll from a massive suicide bombing that targeted an election rally for a pro-Taliban cleric rose to 54, with nearly 200 people as at the time of filing this report, as Pakistan held funerals and the government vowed to hunt down those behind the attack. The victims were attending the rally organized by the Jamiat Ulama Islam Party, headed by hardline cleric and politician Fazlur Rahman, who of course wasn't in attendance. According to reports, Sunday's bombing was one of their 4 worst attacks in northwestern Pakistan since 2014, when 147 people, mostly school children, were killed in a Taliban attack on an army-run school in Peshawar. In January 2023, 74 people were killed in a bombing at a mosque in Peshawar. And in February, more than 100 people, mostly policemen, died in a bombing at a mosque inside a high-security compound house in Peshawar Police Headquarters. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, condemned the attack as being against the democratic system. He also said he had spoken to Mr. Rahman, who has called for an inquiry into the attack, saying that all those responsible will be identified and punished. While I commiserate with the families who have lost loved ones, I sincerely hope the perpetrators are brought to book speedily.